are black women right to not trust black male leadership? So, Faith, now it's 2021. We've had a pandemic. We had a general election. We've had a lot of stuff. Also, a recession, somewhat even of a depression. All the different events that have taken place, plus stuff you've seen online and the manosphere and in these spaces, and even in your personal life. What was your thought process back then? I think it was like 2017 when you first spoke on this, and then can you speak on how you feel about it now, and why you feel the way you feel right now?
Well, back then, I always felt as if black men were scrambling and fighting with black women over the same crimes. And I did a video on that, and I illustrated it with a loaf of bread, in which I said that the whole loaf of bread represents the whole piece of the American pie. And the slices are basically what white society gives to other groups. Now, the white man will give his woman half the slice, half the loaf actually, because they're in bed together, they're married to each other. And other groups, they give them one whole slice. And then from all of that, the crumbs that fall, the crumbs that are left over after everybody else gets to eat, that's what we get. And black men will sit up here and they fight with black women over the same crumbs. And then they turn around and blame the black woman for the crumbs that they're getting. As if black women have anything to do with how the system is set up and the reason why they're getting crumbs. And so that's the reason why back then, I was talking about black male leadership and how black men don't really hold themselves accountable for their place in this society. Because I don't really see black men really competing or comparing themselves to other men. And I know that this has been said by other women, but I'm just going to say it again because I said this way, way back when, before anybody else was saying it. They're comparing themselves to women all the time, competing with their own women, but they won't get out and compete with these other men. And so the way I feel about it today I see a slight improvement as far as economic, where the black man is economically. We're still getting the crumbs that's left over from everybody else. But now his crumbs is a little bit more than our crumbs. But he's still not comparing himself to men. He's still pointing his finger at women. They've come up with terms like gynocracy. They're beating women over the head with skateboards, and they're telling women, black women, that we think we're better than them. And, it's always a constant comparison, so to speak. I don't know if you saw my community tab, but I showed you where now they got the male manicure thing going on. There's a new hotness. I wouldn't be surprised if they start competing with black women over whose manicures look the best. That's how bad it is. So from then to now, I only have to double down on it. Because now you even got black men on social media talking about they're going to be led by a guy that wears a merce. And just here recently, there was a live stream where there was a young man who claimed that he was raised by the manosphere. He's been in this thing since he was a teen. And now he's grown up and he's like the biggest incel on steroids. He hates anything with a vagina. And this is what they have bred. These are their children. And I said this a long time ago that this is going to happen. But when I said it years ago, I was called a black male basher. And it's so funny. It's so ironic that now that they're seeing the fruits of their labor come out in the children that were listening to them, now even they are questioning what's happening. And I have to say, it's the black male leadership. That's what's happening. You're leading these young black men into these dark spaces where they're not respecting women, elderly, children, nobody. This is what you have bred. This is what you taught. This is what you passed down. So it's even worse than Pookie and Ray Ray when Pookie and Ray Ray took over the hood. Now this is permeating past the hood. And it's becoming a permanent fixture on our society. And it's only going to get worse.
So would you say that from your point of view, I know you don't speak for all black women, but like the black women you know, including yourself, is there any type of leadership that black women trust?
To be honest with you, I don't think that there is. I don't speak for all black women. These are all my thoughts, by the way. But, in my mind, black women have had to be so independent. We had to be independent within another man's system. And so if you really think about that, what that does to us psychologically, if we can't even depend on our own men for protection, for provision, and we have to go within another man's system and try to make a way within that system for ourselves. And then even in this other man's system, we're not protected because we're fighting him too. So basically, we have had to protect and provide for our own self within another man's system without the provision, help, or protection of our own men. So no, I don't think that black women, no, the answer to your question, no, I don't think that black women trust any man's system at this point.
So with that being said, I know you mentioned BGS, who's another YouTuber. And this is Faith's community tab that she was talking about as far as the men getting manicures and wanting to compare to women. BGS and others in the manosphere have not really coined the term, but have presented gynocracy, which is the political supremacy of women. Due to the fact that, in your opinion, that black women are right to not really trust any male leadership, do you think that black women collectively should move towards a political supremacy of women as opposed to just kind of waiting around to be led or be upset that there's not a group of men that they can trust to lead them?
Well, I think that's sort of kind of what's happening, because you do have a small segment, not a lot, but a very small segment of black women who have coined the term womanist. So basically, they're women first. And I think that this is coming about because of the fact that, women are finding themselves, especially black women, are finding themselves out here having to fend for themselves alone, having to provide for themselves alone. And it's not because they're not choosing better, but look at the choices. Look at the choices. And then even if you, say for instance, go to a guy that you would consider high value, then there's the problem of whether or not he's high quality. Because just because a man is high value doesn't mean he's high quality. There's a lot of high value men running around here with multiple baby mamas themselves. But, that doesn't get talked about. There's a lot of high value men out here running around beating on women. There's a lot of high value men running around here mistreating women, period. Exploiting them, using them. So, they may be high value, but where's the quality? So in choosing better, Black women will definitely end up having to expand their options and choosing whoever is the best man for the job. Shout out to Crystal and Kerrison. So, it's just basically, at this stage in the game, in our position in this society, the only thing that Black women can do is for ourselves. The only thing that Black women can really do is put ourselves first and love ourselves first and vet the hell out of these men, and hopefully, make the choice where we can find the best guy, whether it be a Black man or a non-Black man or somebody from another country. That's the best thing that we can do. But just saying that, one group of men is better than the other, we're Black women. So, number one, we're Black. That's one stripe. Number two, we're women. That's the other stripe. And we're living in a racist society where the racism is worldwide. So to say that Black women can depend on the leadership of any other group, we can't depend on anybody's leadership at this point. The only thing that we can do is pray that one day our men wake up. That's it. But at this point, we're just out here fending for ourselves.
So speaking of Crystal and Karazan and people in the Level Up community, they talked about, getting with someone who is unattractive, who is ugly, in order to get someone who's high value, someone who's wealthy. So different people who who are womanists, who are basically woman first, they want to pick the best man possible, best man for the job. Do you think that a lot of women should lower their standards in order to get the type of man that might satisfy their needs as far as resources and whatnot? Or do you think that women, well, I don't want to put you in a box. Like, I'll just kind of keep it simple. Do you think that it's right for women to lower their standards as far as attractiveness to make sure they get a man who can, provide resources for her and give her the basic things that she needs in order to move up in social class, which is level up?
No, it's not right. And it's very disingenuous, because what's going to end up happening is you're not really going to have any love for that man. I don't care how long you've been around him, and I don't care how much you close your eyes and dream like it's Denzel Washington in front of you or whatever. If you're not feeling it, you're just not feeling it. That's the reason why you get so many of these women cheating on these guys, because they were being hypergamous first, but they didn't factor in compatibility, and compatibility is also very important. So if you're running around here with a hypergamous first mindset, thinking that it's going to trump compatibility, you're going to be in for a big letdown.
All right. Let me know if, it's too many questions. I don't know how much time we have, but, my next question would be, is it possible to swirl and be pro-black? There's a lot of Black women who are like, I'm going to expand my options, put myself first, get the best man for the job, but they still identify as being pro-black, for Black people, Pan-Africanist, and all this. Is it possible to still be for Black people, for wanting to see Black people or Black women to do well, but you're someone is interracially dating, they're swirling, they are somewhat with someone other than what they look like as far as the opposite gender? Can someone swirl, be interracial, dating, and still be pro-Black, in your opinion?
I don't see why not. Men do it all the time. Men say that they can go ahead and they can pick a non-Black woman and still be pro-Black and participate in the upliftment of their people. But the thing about it is, I don't think that you can be pro-Black family. I don't think that you could be pro-Black family with a non-Black partner. That's the only category that you have X'd yourself out of. Everything else, Yeah, it's pretty much fair game.
So there's a lot of men who they are kind of, let's say, upset that they feel a lot of black women are not cooperative. Like on one hand, they want you to pick better, but they feel that as far as black women collectively, there is not really many to pick from within the collective of black women because there's not a lot of cooperation. And it seems like a lot of women are more masculine. It seems like they're not agreeable. But then when they hop the fence, so to speak, that's when they become a whole different person. And now they become the woman that a lot of black men have wanted them to be. Do you think that if it was possible, if black women collectively were more agreeable, they were more cooperative, more understanding, that there would be a better dynamic between black men and black women in regards to black love?
No, no, I don't think so at all, because black women have been agreeable to a lot of things that was detrimental to her in our society. Now, black men sit up here and they praise large bottoms, large black bottoms, the BBW black woman, the thick, black woman, and black women were very agreeable in giving black men thickness because you made a whole song about it, right? Like big butts and it cannot lie.
Yep.
She could be full in the middle, but she got a big butt. That's what brothers was talking about. And so black women complied, gave y'all the ass you could you can ask for. And then, black men wanted black women to be easier. Black women complied. Now, you can get sex is at an all-time low. So, everything that black men have demanded of black women gave it to them. You wanted a woman that would work with you. What they say, give a brother a chance, work with a brother. So you have black women trying to work with a brother, and that's where you got the Build a Man network from. Black women working with brothers, building them up. So black women have complied with all of the requests from the brothers, only to get slapped down and told that we need to choose better. We need to make better choices after we have complied with your demand for more hoes and thoughts and easy sex and a sister to hold a brother down and work with. We complied. And so now black women have to comply to a different man. And see, these other groups of men are asking black women to lose weight. See, black men did not ask black women to lose weight. Not at first. If you want to be completely honest, no, they didn't. But these other groups of men are asking black women to lose weight and be fit. These other groups of men are asking black women to be educated. These other groups of men are pretty much asking black women to be more elevated than where they are currently with black men in order to fit into their lifestyles and their communities. So whereas we complied with, the requests of black men, and if these requests were silly, I'm just be honest with you. What black men were asking of black women were silly requests. And we complied. What other groups of men are asking of black women, they're asking us to do something completely different, and we're complying. That's all that is. That's it in a nutshell. It's just two different things that were asked of us. On the one side, we were asked to be full body, voluptuous, easy, and work with a brother. On the other side, we were asked to be fit, healthy, educated, and intelligent. So black women are very submissive, and we do comply. But it just depends on what you're asking of us. Brothers didn't ask that of us.
So there was a point in time where you had mentioned that black men collectively constantly harass women everywhere they go. Do you still believe that? And if so, why?
What was the question? You said black men harass black women everywhere that we go.
Right. In the past, you stated that black men collectively constantly harassed women everywhere that black men go. Do you still believe that? And if so, why?
Well, yeah, I do believe that because fast forward to today, and look what we're seeing. Look at what's still going on. The street harassment. See, the street harassment used to be on the street, and to a great degree, is still on the street. But now it's filtered over into cyberspace. So now you have cyberspace harassment for black men. So this is everywhere we go. When I first hit YouTube, I did a video and I had black men coming onto the video, not even knowing me, didn't know who I was, didn't know what my talking points was about. And they're calling me ugly. They're talking about my skin tone. They're talking about my nose. They're talking about my voice. They're talking about everything. And this is all to harass. So yeah, they do. I still feel that way today. It's just that the street harassment has made its way to cyberspace.
Okay. Okay. Uh, do you still believe that black women help create the monsters they complain about? And if so, how do you think that black women can play their part to decrease or eliminate those monsters?
Well, here's the thing. I did that video a while back, and I do still believe that there's a large segment of black women that do create the monsters that they complain about, and that's when the whole mammyism was in full effect. We have black women that pretty much create an environment where the black man is weak, but they create an environment where the women are strong. And here's an example of that, where you have the woman going out working, paying all the bills, making sure everybody's good, but the man is sitting at home playing Nintendo. He's not, given any responsibilities. He's not, made to do anything around the home except just be there and be an accessory. That's it. But the girls in the home, they're told not to go out and get pregnant. They're told that they have to get their education. They're told that they have to go out and work. They're told that they have to do quite a few things around the household. The girls have a lot of responsibility.
Hello?
Yeah. So before we bring you on righteousness, I want Faith to complete her thought, and then we'll bring you on the panel. So Faith, you got anything else you wanted to add?
No, I'm done.
Yeah, thank you for answering that. So joining us on the panel is Righteousness Maurice. Hopefully I said that right. Do you have anything you'd like to say as far as anything you've heard in the broadcast?
Yeah, I do. I'm the reason why first things first. I want to say hello to everybody on the panel. It's early in the morning. Respectfully, and I was just coming back from Team Lift, and I was just listening to this. As you guys know, my story, football player. I'm gonna say this, okay? Because they teach us in school like certain things about our history, and certain things they leave out. And I'm gonna say this, like I love black women, but at the same time, when I hear about black women, what I'm saying they feel like they want to go divest out and stuff like that. I personally feel like, if you want to, whoever makes you happy, what I'm saying, if that what makes you happy, cool. And if that means, what I'm saying, the sacrifice of a race or a species or whatever, if that's what you want to do, then fine, then go do it. But don't complain about it while you do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just do it. Just know what you're doing. You're destroying the black community. Just go ahead and do what you want to do. If you want to sit there and be like, oh, there's not enough good black men or whatever, I call bull on that. I'm on college campus. I see a bunch of brothers that do the good thing, that do it, saying they're in good fields. But you see, the thing is, society doesn't promote those types of brothers. Society doesn't support aerospace engineers, short guys that are 5'7", that are wimpy and drive Nissans. Raise women from these big booty women, these sexy women, these fine women. They want a guy who's on par with them, a Denzel Washington, somebody a Kojo, someone that they could fantasize about. But to see, the thing is, that thing is funny when I hear women talk about they want certain types of things, and they use excuses of we've been there before for black men and all this stuff in the past. If you read our history, even in college, on college campuses in African American studies, y'all sacrificed us to get things in that Civil Rights Act movement. It's like I always compare that Civil Rights Act movement to the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. Okay, on paper, they're good. Everyone can run a 5'8". These guys are 300 pounds, 6'7". You would think they're supposed to, block any defensive line in the league. They can't stop a nosebleed. The Civil Rights Act movement was detrimental to the black community, but on paper, it looks good. Now we have our women now today talking about white men. I just think it's funny how, black women want so much from black men, but you are also the detrimental reason why black men are in the crippling state they are in. So I think it's just funny, and I think it's hypocrisy that the foremothers and the grandmothers sacrificed a certain thing to get something else. Then you have a chain reaction for years, and then you have women that come on panels and they talk about their frustrations. But at the same time, I'm like, well, listen, lady, you have homegrown these types of men for 3-4 generations long, and you have not come up with a solution. You've come up with complaining. There's certain men that come up with solutions, and those men that have come up with solutions, black women, for some reason, don't get behind them and support them the same exact way they'll support and get behind some men that are, quote unquote, Pookies and Ray Rays. I've seen it on college campuses. I've seen it in my own face. I've seen women that are on track teams have no business, beautiful, African American women have no business dealing with certain types of guys and certain demographics. You have plenty of brothers on campus, good education, good looking, even on the football team. Not enough edge for them. They got to get the most dangerous of the dangerous of the dangerous. And then you want to say, oh, there aren't good enough black men once you get pregnant. You got to start taking responsibility for your actions. Okay, my football coach tells me this all the time, and he's true. And this is another situation where black women and black men got to really just grow up. Black women, you want your men to do something good, support them, get behind them. You can't find a good man, okay? You don't believe there are good men, okay? There's brothers overseas. There's brothers over, but the dangerous thing about being a woman, you're not a leader. So when you go overseas, you leave your culture, you leave your little safety net to go to be at the mercy of another man in another man's land. You don't know what that man's family think of you. You don't know what that family man or what that guy's trying to use you. Now, men is a little different. Men are leaders. So it's a little different. That's why when black men say, I'm bringing a woman to the cookout, whether he's Spanish, Asian, black, white, whatever, it's a little different because you're a leader, naturally born. So a woman's giving up her safety net from her community to figure out who you are. When black women do it with a white man, I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, but when black women do it, it's a little different because at the same time, you are giving a step down to a white man who's actually coming into a diaspora where his ancestors, whether you want to admit it or not, ruled and conquered and killed and pillaged and burned. If you want to look over that stuff and be a bedwench, that's by all means your business. But there's guys that are on college campus. There's guys that has thousands of brothers, and a lot of Spanish women check for these guys. A lot of white women check for these guys. Asian women check for these guys. Filipino women check for these guys. I'm on Worcester State en masse. There's 7,000 students. that live on campus. There's another 7,000 that live off the campus. I see this on a regular. I'm in this field right now. I see it. And we gotta stop it. We gotta let the past be the past, and we have to unite under one banner. And we can't let this, black women did this and black men did that, destroy our actual race. There's good brothers out there. You got to be willing to understand them so you can actually obtain them.
So I don't know if Faith has any questions for you, Maurice, but my first question is, where are you going to school and what city?
Worcester State, Massachusetts. I play a slot receiver. I play safety. This is my last year, and I'm already a truck driver now. I'm doing aerospace engineering for Pratt & Whitney and for the military. I build F-122 Raptors. I'll be building jet. I'll be helping out.
Slow down, Maurice. We just want to know the city. So you said Wolford, Massachusetts. So when it boils down to it, how many black men do you see on your college campus? Just approximation.
So roughly there's like 7,000 people that live on campus. I'd say probably like a couple hundred.
So we'll say like what, 200 on average?
Yeah, like 200, 250, 300.
Okay, so we'll say 300 black men, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What are their age ranges?
25, 20, or some 20, 19, youngins, and then there's ones like me who went to college late, 28. And there's guys that are, like 25, 26. So I'll say really around all the way from like 19, 20, all the way to like 28.
So 18 to 28 years old is like the age range, right?
Yeah.
So you have to understand that if let's say if a black woman, wherever she's born, the zip code and the family she's born in, the likelihood that she's going to run into 300 of those black men at your college campus in the age range of 18 to 28, if she's older than that, is kind of slim. So wherever she is, she's not going to know where to travel to find the best option for her. She's going to pick based off of proximity. And if the proximity doesn't give her what she wants, she's going to, perhaps date outside her race, so she doesn't have to travel far to meet someone because she wants the best man for the job. Or she may, travel to a different state, different city to meet someone or to be involved with someone, even if using means like dating online or, dating through like, YouTube, Facebook, or what have you. But the issue really isn't, black women dating non-black men. It's just picking the best man for the job. The same way you rattled off your attributes and your accolades. I'm assuming you're black. Well, there might be, let's say if you're in a relationship with someone and there's someone just like you who is non-black, who has the same accolades, and she likes those accolades, she likes that person, she's going to just pick what makes her happy. The idea of tribalism, where black people got to stick with black people for the sake of the race, there's enough black people in the world for black people to continue. And we can't put the race on our backs because you want to pick the best person, not the person that looks a certain way, so you can continue on with a race or whatever you want as far as skin tone or what have you. And using shaming language like bedwench is a part of the reason why a lot of black people are choosing better environments as opposed to settling. Because just same way you want the best job possible when you're done with your college, and you mentioned working on military planes, the same way you want the best job possible so you can make the most money, there's women that want the best man possible so that they can achieve upward mobility, economic advancement. That's what ultimately is about, is success, no matter who you're with, because majority of the time a woman's worth and wealth is dependent on the man she gets with, unless she's by herself. So Faith, you got anything?
Well, there's so much to unpack in his statement. First, I heard him say that black women are the reason that black men are in the condition that they're in. I need him to, go into more detail as to how black women put black men in the condition that they're in.
I could do that. I mean, I take African American Studies 225 and 275. I could give you three laws that implemented the infrastructure that put gentlemen. Well, Malcolm X was an actual. That's so. So what I mean by the Civil Rights Movement, the Civil Rights Act movement, the Civil Rights Act movement was supposed to be a way for African American people to gain certain benefits, certain like for women and men that now LGBTQ prosper off of, certain other demographics and groups prosper off of it now. All right. What I mean by it is that the black woman was a detrimental tool or pawn from the actual government. If you do your research, they understood that that African American women aren't actually willing, or the majority of them aren't actually willing to actually conceive into the African American dollar that will actually contribute to infrastructure. Schools, buildings, roadways, highways, etc., etc. What they did was instead they used the tax money that could have been used for our own natural resources. They used it and they used those tax dollars for their detrimental for the government. What I mean by that is instead of actual people putting up the dollar with their mouth, the government said, screw that. Let's give them some poison in the arm and call it a Civil Rights Act movement, and the women are going to praise us for it. And if you do read some of the certain acts and some of the certain things that are binding in the constructs of the Civil Rights Act movement, I don't see how you could say that the black people have benefited off of it. There might be some people who benefit off of it, but no black person really is benefiting from it now. You know who's benefiting from it now? LGBTQ plus, the T's, all that demographic group. They benefit from the rights that we should.
Okay, have. But you're kind of veering off into something else, because I'm looking specifically for what black women did to put black men in the situation and condition that you guys are in. And you're going off on this other stuff, and I still don't see where black women are coming in.
Yeah, black women, they betrayed the black man. I mean, if you like I said, they have it in history books. You guys betrayed the black man when you guys.
They have it in the history book. It says in the history book, black women betrayed black men. No,
I mean, it says that you guys actually, instead of divesting your money and actually divesting time into the African American diaspora, I'm looking at it right now, you guys actually went over into a Civil Rights Act movement that actually put that black community in a detrimental state, financially causing a burden on the actual diaspora to the point where black people couldn't actually build infrastructure.
So wait. They said that only black women had money and only black women.
No.
I mean, this is how it's sounding. So that's the reason why I need you to be more specific. Hold on.
Yeah, hold on. I'm reading it through right now. I'm just looking through pages right now.
What's the name of the book?
African American Studies, 225, and then I have another book, African American American Studies, 275. I'm just doing this class just for an extra credit.
Are the authors white?
I don't know.
I tell you what, I don't want you to get
the author of the name. I mean, the author of the.
I don't want to get you off track from answering Faith's question, because basically we just want specificity as to how black women betray black men, like specificity.
Yeah. Okay, all right, that's no problem. Because African American women betrayed in a sense because of the fact that housing, tax money, government funding, keep the man out, all those types of things. Even before when black men first got out of slavery, it says that the detrimental survival of the African community during that time of slavery.
I tell you what, Maurice. I tell you what. Do you want to take time out to read that? We'll let Faith respond, then we'll go to Brother Speak. So that way, get you a chance to give a specificity as opposed to, it sounds like you're searching for the answer.
Yeah,
We just want specific. It's okay, Maurice. Just take time out and read it.
All right, cool. So how about if somebody wants, I'm just gonna look through this chapter.
Right, yeah, look through the chapter, read it. We'll let Faith respond, and then we'll go to Brother Speak. We'll come back to you after you have specific examples for us. That way, you're not like searching and sounding like fumbling. So, Faith, you got a response before we go to Maurice? Maybe before we go to Brother Speak? You got anything, Faith?
Yeah, because I think I kind of get the gist of what he's trying to say, but I don't want to put words in his mouth, so I'm going to wait for him to come up with the actual response. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but I've heard a lot of black men say things like black women betrayed the movement, we took public housing, and we put the black men out. You know, the same old arguments that we've been hearing for the last decade.
I get it. You know, no one wants to hear how they messed up. I understand.
No, we just want specificity.
No. Because I want to know, is it messed up to want to survive? Because I think it's more messed up to be a bum on the street than it is to go and get government housing for yourself and your children so that you and your children don't have to be on the street. Don't you think so?
Listen,
But just answer my question. Is it better for a woman and a child to be in a shelter, to have home, shelter, running water, than for them to be on the street?
I mean, black people were on the street back then.
That's a yes or no question. Is it better or not?
Say that again. Is it better or what for black women? Is it better
for black women and children to go to the government and get shelter, housing, running water, food, than for them to be out on the street starving?
Who said y'all would have been out on the street starving though?
Well, black men did. Hold on. Were the black men providing shelter, food, and water?
No, but that's
exactly. But no, they were not. So, which is better, out on the street starving, or shelter, food, and water?
It all depends on your aspect of how you.
No. Yes or no? Which is better? Let me ask you, would you rather be out on the street or would you rather have shelter, food, and water?
You don't want to ask me that question because I'll probably give you an answer that you might not, you know. To me, this is what I'm going to say. Saving somebody.
Would you put your kids out on the street?
Why would I do that?
Exactly. Why would black women do it?
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, ma'am, to a certain extent. However, I'm going to say this. Some patience, maybe some delegation, because it's not like the brothers during that time wasn't actually trying to build. The women at that time, I want to live.
And the women understood that. That is the reason why a lot of us worked with black men during that time. During that time, there were a lot of black women that had men in the home, but they were hiding them.
Yeah, because
also during that time, hold on. And also during that time, if you do your research, there were a lot of black men that voluntarily left the home to go to cities where there were more opportunities. But a lot of them never returned to their families. There was a lot going on back then. You need to do more research than just those 2 textbooks that you got.
No, I do my research, but I'm just saying.
Evidently, you don't because you are behind.
Whoa. First of all, ma'am, don't be hostile. It's early in the morning. And
no, I'm not hostile. I'm not hostile, sir.
Maurice, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that, Maurice. We're not going to do that. Don't be hostile thing. Don't be disrespectful. So if you want to try again, you can. But I tried to give you a chance to correct yourself, and I said read the chapters, come back with specificity.
I'll come back.
No, I mean that's what I'm saying because basically now it sounds like you're regurgitating talking points, and maybe you should finish the class of African American Studies before coming on the panel and spewing out stuff. And it seems like you're out of your league. I'm saying
exactly. Exactly. I am 35 years old, and everything that you're reading from that book, I've already read and some. Do you
Okay,
understand?
ma'am.
You're talking to somebody that
But
has
listen,
read that plus more.
I understand that,
You got
ma'am,
to
but that
catch
doesn't
up.
take
You
away
got to
from the
catch
truth.
up.
That's the thing, though. That's what I'm trying to say. I agree, though. I didn't have my points. I was hearing what you were saying, and I just had some disagreements. But I do give you credit to the fact that I should have had my points better prepared. But I see I'm looking at some stuff right now. I don't know if you want me to go ahead and read it, but I'm actually just skimming through it now to make sure I have my talking points ready. That's why I said if if
You
you
got to
want to
understand.
if you want to have someone else take
Well,
the mic
see,
while I find my
well,
info, and then
see, Maurice, class is out. So you got the book. You can read us a bunch of stuff. We want you to digest the information and then come to us with it so that we can have a dialogue. Because reading the book, it's almost amateurish, and the level that we kind of have our dialogue on these panels is more of we've taken the class, we've lived the life, we have the experience and the wisdom, and now we can speak intellectually about these topics without regurgitating talking points. That's why I wanted to give you time to get specificity together, because if not, it makes you sound like you're out of your league, and I know that's not how you want to sound. So we'll let Faith finish her point. We'll pass to the brother speak, and by then, Maurice, maybe you've read some stuff, you've digested it, and you can give us the intellectual conversation that we need from you. So Faith,
all
you got
right, yeah,
anything before
that's
we
no
go to
problem.
brother speak?
No, go ahead and pass the mic to Bro Speak.
Yeah.
Brother speak, welcome to the panel.
Hey, how y'all doing? Can y'all hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Yeah,
Okay,
loud and clear.
thank you. I'm using my mic, so I didn't want to be too loud. Um, one of the questions that you asked, Faith, that should black women trust black male leadership? And I'm gonna be honest, I don't think you should trust any black leadership, because let's be honest, black leadership has failed us, everybody, not just the black women, the black men as well. So I can see why they wouldn't trust it, and I don't trust it either. I'm more of an individualist myself. I don't I don't believe in that black community stuff. I believe it is a choice, and the women have a choice too. And they if they're choosing to not support the black community, that is their choice. I would not hold anybody, man or woman, to support a community that you feel is not supporting you. If that means you got to go outside of it, that is your right and your choice to do so. My thing is, don't bash your community while you're doing it. It's best just stay silent about it. Now you could critique it. I don't have no problem with that, but don't bash it, and don't demonize all black men while you're over there with that white guy, because just like you think that as a swirler that black man is beneath you, that white man or that Latin man is thinking that you are beneath them. So that's more important to think of. Faith, there was a question I wanted to ask you, and it's like, would you date any of these guys from the black manosphere? Just because every time I hear a complaint about black men, the black manosphere comes up, and it seems like more of the women, particularly online, whenever there's a issue with black men, the black manosphere keeps coming up. And
Isn't that a good thing?
huh?
I say, isn't that a good thing?
The black manosphere?
Yeah.
Now, if it's viewed as a negative light, no.
Who cares if it's viewed in a negative light? You can only save the souls who actually think that it's good if it's going to benefit them. I'm not going to worry about people who think that it's wrong. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. When it comes to black male image, you don't control it. So
we've never controlled it.
Huh?
We've never controlled it.
Okay, so when you don't control it, you have to make sure that your image is as clean as possible. Because
But
if you don't
women,
let, because if you don't, because you don't control it, anybody can use your image and put it in a negative light. So that's why I say that. Now, that's why I was asking Faith, like, would there be anyone in the black manosphere would you date, since everybody keeps putting their black manosphere name in their mouth of all the ills of that black men are doing? So I wanted to ask that question.
Well, I don't know each man intricately to answer that question, but from what I see online, and if I have to go solely off of what I see online, no.
Okay. Yeah, that okay. That was my real question. And so I that's why I was asking, why does it matter what they think or they do in particularly? Because if we're basing out the mainstream, we got a lot of broken, and especially social media. We got a lot of broken people on social media. That's that's what they do. They harass, they bother people. Meanwhile, the good black men, the good black women, they now online. They're too busy living their lives. But instead of supporting them, we still go back to the black manosphere. They're the ones why these guys are acting the way it is. And really, like I've always said, they are the symptom of a bigger problem. And if you want to say black male leadership has failed them, I can agree with that. But I also think that there's also their whole thing with the big mama complex. There's been a lot of females has been letting these dudes bum off of them, and it's not even usually because these guys were struggling. It was just the fact that they were attracted to them, and you know they was very charismatic, or they just attracted to them, and they just listen to them instead of the good men. Because I always think that there's there's still, even in those rough neighborhoods, there were still good men who just went to work, gone home, went to work, gone home. But they wasn't even paid attention to, or they were supported. And
yeah,
so,
it's you
and
all the
that's
time.
so I think that's where kind of like my issue comes into about they're saying that they were picking the best of the worst.
It was like 1964.
So that's
But
always
but
what I feel.
you know, well, speak. I don't disagree with what you're saying in theory, but here's the thing, though.
Hmm.
When you try to put it as black women problem alone, you're right. It's a community problem. And here's the thing: the same way he set up here and he talked about black women, the pretty big booty black women don't want the 5'7", guy that's majoring in engineering. How come the 5'7" guy doesn't want the overweight ugly girl that's also majoring in engineering?
There are no overweight women in engineering. You know
Well,
who's engineering that are women?
hold on. I'm just saying.
But I'm just telling you the truth. There are no
Want?
overweight women in engineering.
Hold on. That's beside the point. We're playing semantics here.
I'm not. You said
The
something that's
point.
not true.
Hold on. Because you're about to take us down a road here, and see, I'm not about to do semantics. The
But you
same
said something
way.
that's not true.
Hold on. The
Slow down,
same.
Maurice. Slow down,
Right,
Maurice.
Maurice. Listen, and learn something. The same way you're talking about the 5'7" unattractive guy majoring in engineering. I'm using an example. Please leave semantics out of it. This is just an example, okay? But how come that 5'7" dude can't get with the ugly chick in engineering?
There are some guys that have ugly women in engineering
But why would the first thing that come out your mouth be the big beauty cute girls don't want the 5'7" guy?
because men work hard and men want what they want. I'm not saying women don't deserve what they want, but when you look at what men want, it's simpler than what women want. I talk to the, if I went to my program, and I might just do this. If I go into my program and I go in, if I go on the football field and I take a survey and I'm like, hey guys, what type of woman do you want? I guarantee you it's going to be different. The football program version of women is going to be different than if I was to go into my engineering program and go into the engineering Pratt & Whitney class and be like, and go into the terminal and be like, hey, out of 500 guys.
Okay, but we understand that, we get that, but is it okay hold on, listen. Is it okay for the attractive woman not to be attracted to the 5'7" guy that's an engineer? Is it okay for her not to be attracted to him?
No, it's not okay.
Why is it not okay? Isn't she a human being?
Okay.
So the same way you want what you want, she can't want what she wants?
Listen, she can want what she wants. That's no problem. I never said that she can't want what she wants. But
then why wouldn't it be okay for her not to be attracted to the 5'7" guy?
Okay, listen, ma'am. Faith. That's her name, right, Faith?
Yes.
Right, well, okay. So I'm saying this: it's okay for women to want what they want, right? I don't think and it's okay for men to want what they want. Now, I don't think it's okay for a woman to want what you want, and that's detrimental to you, whether you think it or not. That's the problem with women when they think they know better. It's like, listen, I see your own demise. You don't see it because you're going to be the receiving.
Okay, we're strictly talking about attraction here. I don't know what rabbit hole you're going down now.
That was attraction. If you attracted something that's going to be detrimental to you.
How is it detrimental to you because she's not attracted to you?
The option of mate that you chose is detrimental to you. Would you not accept the fact that if a guy, okay, so you just said
how is it detrimental to you because a woman is not attracted to you?
If he's not a leader, if he doesn't provide, isn't that detrimental to a relationship? You said that yourself earlier in the argument. That's why women are.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Okay, man. Okay, I'm pretty sure I can rewind.
And I'm still wondering, and I'm still asking you to answer the question: how is that detrimental? Because when I think of detrimental, I'm thinking of life-threatening.
Oh, okay. So you have to be a little more specific. I was talking about community-wise and also family-wise.
I mean, it is the fact that she is not attracted to you going to make or break you getting a good grade in school?
No. Actually, you're right. If you wanna, you're 100% right. I'm looking at it from a cultural family aspect. You're looking from an individual. So individually, if you're not going to be in life's jeopardy and that's what you want, go right ahead. I'm not going to disagree with that. I thought you were talking about.
And also culturally, she could be attracted to a different man in the same culture. That is her preference.
Yeah, but okay, but you don't know if that's good for her or not. So you can't just say that. Because I've worked with women in programs, in counseling programs that I had to do, that have told me straight up they won't date a white guy again because they've realized their family is racist. And that's here in Mass. I don't know how it is anywhere else. I can't speak for anywhere else. And I can't speak for nobody other, but I'm talking about the women that I've done programs for the NCAA for. So, and these are black women, a few of them, and Spanish women. So, I mean, that's just what I'm saying.
That's kind of no-brainer that you find out that someone you're dating, their family's racist. Of course, you're not going to want them anymore. You know, that's kind of a no-brainer. But we need more specificity as far as what you mean by detrimental. Because if it's a harmful relationship, of course.
Okay, I'm gonna give you an example. So there's a girl who's dating a guy, right? And I'm not gonna name a name, you know, against NCAA protocol. And she found out that his family's racist, and she found out that even though she liked him, then that at one point he actually kind of turned and reasoned with his parents on her, and she kind of felt isolated. Maybe I should have put a different type of word on it, spin twist. Maybe not necessarily detrimental to your life, but you don't know where that could lead. You feel isolated. You know what I'm saying? This is what this female, she felt isolated, the fact because she's dating this white guy in this white country who has a perfect picture, like you said, narrative, right? So when the shit hits the fan and you trying to run to people and tell people what's going on, to a certain degree, people are not going to believe you because number one, you're in his country. Number two, you chose to date him. And number three, how could I believe you when you put this motherfucker up on a excuse my language, on a pedestal? And this is not me saying this. These are women that I've gone into counseling groups for the NCAA athletes who have told me this. Now, if this is just here in Mass, think about the rest of the country.
Have you ever heard of colorism?
I've heard of colorism, of course.
So like it's possible for, like, let's say another example, a black man dates a black woman and he has a preference as far as a different color or a different shade, but he doesn't communicate that to her and ends up taking out whatever anger he has inside of him on her because of the features that she has or the color of her skin. So no matter what type of man a woman gets with,
what is that called? It's called colorism.
Right, colorism. It no matter what type of woman, I mean, no matter what type of man a woman gets with, there can always be issues such as racism, colorism. He could be, have mental issues. There's always that risk.
Isn't that preference though?
Technically? Well, no. Colorism is different than a preference. So colorism is discrimination.
Explain. Oh, okay. So you're not dating a certain type of person because they're a certain type of person, type of shit. That's racism, though.
Well, so racism is where you're judging someone's race. Colorism is where it's based off the hue of their skin. And also featureism, where it's their features, such as a big nose, big lips, which is associated with Negroid. So there are people who will date someone and be in a relationship with them, and then it comes out that this person has a problem with the person's features or colorism. And, for whatever weird reason, people will get with someone and not be honest with themselves and the people that they're trying to pair to bond with exactly what they want. And you won't know that until the mask comes off, till you get to know the person, and then you can see, do you want to proceed forward with the relationship when you discover something such as the family's racist, they're colorist, they're featurist, they have bad credit, they lied about their they lied about what they really want from you as far as a relationship. Are they serious about a relationship? Are they dating with a purpose? You kind of find all that stuff out after you get with them sometimes. So it's possible to date someone, marry them, and it's just not right for you, and you have to end the relationship. So, it's different levels as far as what could be detrimental. And that kind of goes back to what I originally said in regards to women will pick the best man for the job. And if that person doesn't work out, they move on to another man, no matter what the race and background is. So I had a question for Brother Speaks. He mentioned something about a good man. So my question to the panel, starting with Brother Speak, and then Maurice and Faith can, of course, weigh in. What exactly is a good man?
I just feel that a good man is one who is not derelict, for one. He treats the women with respect. He treats the community with respect. That's my definition of a good man. But most of those guys don't get appreciated. They don't get supported. They are usually looked over. And to answer Fate's question, why the fat chick won't go with the 5'7" guy?
No, just the big booty you chase.
No, I was asking why the 5'7" guy won't date the ugly fat chick.
Because nobody wants to get on someone on their level, because most people think that they're above that level when really they're not.
But that could be the same for women too, man. That's not fair.
No, I was saying for both. They both do the same thing.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Both. So to answer the question, it really does go back to attraction, who you're attracted to. I've seen cases where a black female, instead of getting with a guy that's on her attraction level, she'll just date out. So, but when you see the guy that she usually end up with, She would have been better. It's just the change of the skin. It's not really a change of attitude or anything.
Yep.
It's just a change of the skin.
Yeah.
So
Stupid. My definition of a good man is warrior. I was writing down on my notes, past some of my homework and stuff. I was at a good man is a warrior. A good man sacrifices and does self-preservation. He takes care of himself first, and when he does have a family, he puts the children and the woman before him, and before he puts God before the women and children. That was my definition of a good man. He leads men in the most valiant of times, the most detrimental of times, and even if him and a woman disagree, his outcome will always be the best outcome. And he's a peaceful man when it comes to, and he will also unleash the wrath of God. And I didn't say hell, because when you unleash the wrath of hell, there's a sacrifice. But I said God, because when God unleashes his wrath, everybody gets it pretty much. So that's why I use that terminology for the good man. That's my definition of a good man. I had to write that down.
So, Faith, can I get your definition of a good man?
Well, for me, personally, I look for a man that says what he means and means what he says. A man of his word. Not somebody that's going to sit up here and make all types of promises. And then when you're looking for the tangibles, they just want you to focus on the words and not what they're actually doing. So you got to show and prove when it comes to me. You have to say what you mean what you say. And I like a man who is a leader and knows that he's supposed to be a leader. Okay, if you sit up here and things go wrong and the first thing you want to do is look at me, I'm going to look at you and be like, no, sir. You are the leader. You should know that you're the leader. If something goes wrong, you need to check first yourself before you look at me, because I was not the leader in this situation. You were. And last but not least, but a man that is faithful and a man that puts his family first. If the man is not family oriented, if he does not put his woman and his children first, then he doesn't deserve to live. That's how I roll. I have no respect for those types of men.
So for me, it's a man who's moral, does things that's legal, and does the thing that's ethical. So as you can see, all four of us, and even I am verbal in the chat section, and I'm sure people watching silently, we all have different definitions of a good man. And the reason why I ask people what their definition of a good man is because we all have different points of view. So when it comes to women and they're making choices, it's based off of their own definition, their own worldview, and their belief. And you don't know if someone is going to be any of our definitions or all of our definitions until you get to know them. So it's not really possible to pick better, because when it boils down to it, it's possible for a man to come across as good based off our definitions until he does something that's deemed unethical, illegal, or immoral. Then, after he's done something, and it is subjective, Muslim lover of peace, you're absolutely right. Then at that point, you could be like, oh, well, you should have picked better. But at the time, he exhibited, our definitions of what a good man was. He was picked, and then he may have done something to remove that idea of him being good, and now he's bad. Because if we simply look at someone based off the way they look and how they act and deem them to be less than or not good, now we are somewhat judging, and then we're discriminatory, and it's more than likely we may be somewhat closet racist. So
I have a quick question.
Okay.
All right, because to me, all right. Would you consider King Leonidas and the Brave 300 good men? Would you consider the ghost? Would you consider the samurai and the warriors of Toshima who defended off the Mongol invasion good men? Would you consider the men on D-Day? Would you consider them good men? Because those men probably don't think like how we think. But does that make them not good men? No. So that's why, to me, when I hear people say certain things about good men, it's like, listen, I'm not going to go against no one's constraints of what a good man is. To me, a good man is a person who will sacrifice, put their life on the line for what matters most. That's the overall. Good men are dying right now overseas, so men like us can have these conversations. You know what I'm saying? Those are really real good men, all right? So and they're doing that because they understand the cost of freedom. It doesn't come easy. There's people in other lands that don't like us. They don't like the fact that we can use the internet. They don't like the fact that women can talk their minds. They don't like that stuff. So there's men out there pulling real work, real sacrifice. So that's why when it comes to my definition, and that's why sometimes me and the women on this campus, when we have our little talks, we see it differently, because I'm like, your modern version of a good man, back in the day, that man would have been murdered because he was too weak. Not the fact that he's not taking care of his family, but the fact of, listen, perfect example. There was a scenario where a guy is going to Kemet. He has a camel. He sleeps at this oasis tent. He gives some gold coins, and a woman wants to leave because she's sick and tired of the oasis camp. She wants to go to Kemet with him. The man says, okay, fine. The man is not traveling on his camel's back. He's walking with the camel. The woman decides to stay with him, and while she's staying with him, it's a 3-day walk to Kemet. She's complaining about how it's so hot. Can I stay on your camel? The guy's like, bro, listen. I found you in the middle of the desert at an oasis camp. You're not going on my camel. I'm not even going on my camel. My camel has all my stuff that I'm going to sell at Kemet. Now, in modern day era, oh, he's a bad man. He's this, that, this. But back in that day, nigga, bitch, you're just some chick that I met in the desert somewhere. Listen, get out of here. You're not gonna be detrimental to me because you're not getting what you want when you chose this. And that's what that mindset right there is what is destroying modern women today. You're picking something, and after you're picking something, you're complaining about what you're picking, and then putting a demonized name on it when you don't get it. If I'm not using my camel to Kemet, why do you deserve to go? My stuff to sell for my family back in Kushna is on my camel's back. Why would I have you on my camel? Because you didn't like the situation you was in here? That's your problem. I'm just going to Kemet. So that's why these traditions and these certain scenarios, that's why I asked that question. Is King Leonidas and the Brave 300 good men? Because I guarantee you, they smacked women up. They didn't listen to women. King Leonidas said himself, you have many soldiers and not many warriors. I should have brought the women up here. They would have taught you another lesson themselves. But King Leonidas wouldn't have been a modern day man. So does that make him a bad man? Because he was in a different century? No, it doesn't. So that's why I'm saying, when it comes to the definition of a good man, it depends on the time.
Okay, well, we're talking about the here and now.
Yeah, but here and now, you have men that are weak. And you see yourself. You complain about yourself.
Let me say this. Now, do men fall into the same category? Because now there are a lot of men that complain about child support. They're complaining that the women are putting them on the child support, putting them on the system. They're complaining that the women are getting their divorces. They're complaining that the women are out here cheating. But where is it where your choices come into play here? How come you guys don't choose better? How come you don't look past the big butt and the smile?
Like the brother Bro Speak said, it all goes down to what you're attracted to. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So now,
for women that are
hold on. Maurice, hello.
Hold on. I'm not done. So that's what I'm saying. When you said that,
can you please let me finish my thought?
Okay, yeah, sure. Now that you asked, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so now what I'm getting to is, it is okay for men to act off of their attractions and off of their base senses. But when a woman does it, she needs to choose better.
But you guys do it all the time. That's a hypocritical statement.
Hold on. No, you're being hypocritical now.
How? 6 foot 6 dick? 6 foot 6? Where'd that come from? From y'all?
Big boot, 35, 24, 36? Come on, where did that come from?
All right, so we're at a stalemate.
So we could do this all day. We could do this all day. The point is, the point is the same way that you all want us to choose better, you guys need to choose better too. Why don't you actually choose women who have actual wifely attributes?
Men are starting to do that now.
What are wifely attributes, by the way?
Cooperative, submissive, loving, take care of the family, take care of the kids, and not a cheater, faithful. Because you women cheat like nobody's business, and then say the same amount of cheating that you do, men do. Bullshit. And I see it on campus right now. There's dudes who are players that can't even keep up with the women that are players, and that's why I'm like, I don't want to hear that men shit. I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit.
You realize your college campus is not the world, right?
I
mean,
understand
you can't base your worldview off the campus.
I gotta. That's true. But when I hear what a guy goes on in Massachusetts is going through, and then I hear another guy who's a transfer student from Tokyo, Japan, say the same thing, what do you want me to think? Oh no, it's just coincidence.
We understand we understand you want a grandstand, and that there's a time and place for it. But answering the question, what qualities are in a wife, the grandstanding is not really helping illustrate what you believe the qualities in a good wife are.
Well, I'm just saying, she asked the question, what's what I think a good wife is. The qualities: caring, charismatic, submissive, cooperative, faithful, because a lot of women will come talk about faithfulness and they're the biggest cheaters, is my point. That's why I brought that up.
Okay, how about this? What would a good wife need in order to help you build a household?
Okay, yeah, structure, and I have a structured plan, and you agree with the plan because you know that this is actually going to work for the family. So there's an order, there's a structure, there's a schedule. Okay, we put in money in the pot, and then we watch this money grow. We invest in a house. We have kids. The kids go to the house. Then I got to worry about private school. I got to worry about schools in the school district. That's how you build. Individual homes is what makes the community great. I can't, it has to be a team effort to make this family work. I think that's where me and you could agree with, but the difference is that you feel it could be done your way, and I feel it could be done the way that men of the past have done it. That's where I think me and you are not going to agree on.
Okay, all right, let me watch this. Bro, speak. What attributes would your wife have to have in order to help you build a household?
Well, she had to be a nurturer. She had to be able to bring peace to the household. Because if I'm going out there fighting the world, the last thing I want to come home to is a house full of chaos. So she has to be able to be a peaceful person and bring peace. So that would be my thing. And also we should be able to communicate, be able to laugh with each other, talk with each other. She should be able to come to me if there's an issue without fear of something happening to her or fear of that I'm going to look down upon her. And she should know the trust that I can handle any situation. And also be able, to help me with any plans that I have for the family. She should be able to help with the plan. And if she has her own plans that I think might be better, she should be able to come to me and we can talk about it. So that's what I would think would be a good wifey material.
All right, last but not least, CK, what attributes would a woman have to help you build a household?
Well, when I first meet her, I'm going to be asking her 5-year plan, her 10-year plan, her 100-year plan to see what her goals are, and hopefully she has a sense of business and organization, because when it comes to a family, it's a business, family business, and I would want her to have understanding as far as communication. I would want her to communicate her problems, her wants, her needs, her to be understanding that as we grow, we're going to be growing together and solving problems. I'd want her to have a sense of telling me what she wants from me and understanding that I want things from her in a reciprocal relationship. Want her to be, kind, nice, pleasant, loving. I want her to be honest with me and be truthful. I would want her to be submissive to me and me submissive to the relationship. I'd want her to lean on me when it comes to problems and for her to trust my guidance and my judgment and my leadership, and for her to give me feedback.
All right. And all of you, and including the young man down here at the bottom up under me, those are great answers. Now, the next thing I want to know is, what attributes would you be looking in a woman to be a good mother? And anybody can start this one off.
So for a good mother, for me, in my opinion, she has to understand that how she was raised wasn't perfect, and she has to somewhat take the good and leave the bad. I'd want her to be sound as far as her mental health, take parenting classes. I would want her to want to raise children and to like children. I want her to, communicate with me any problems that she has, be open to reading books on parenting. I would want her to, her parents and her grandparents and people who are in her family and her friends. I'd want her to be objective, especially when they give advice in regards to her parenting and raising the child. And I'd want her to give the child goals and have goals for the child. And if she and I have a disagreement, we know that we're not going to argue and have conflict in front of the child, and try to create a positive environment to the best of our ability, and ultimately discuss different things so we're on the same page and have a united front when dealing with raising our child or children and doing different things such as the schooling of the children and raising of the children, and ultimately punishment and discipline when that time comes. I want us to be on the same page as opposed to us fighting each other, especially in front of the child.
Perfect. Rose, speak. What are some of the things that you're going to need from a wife or a woman in order to make her the mother of your children?
Well, nurturing. She has to be a nurturer. She has to be willing to teach, because if I'm providing and protecting, I'm gonna need her to be teaching. Not that I can't teach them anything, but I need her to, if I'm working, I need her to be teaching. If she is not working as well, be cooperative. We can make sure we on the, like CK said, we're on the same page of how we want to raise this kid. Whether we're gonna, let's say, if the child's going to be public schooling or private schooling, what type of neighborhood we're going to be in, it's just, and just be able to communicate. It's pretty much going to be the same thing as being a wife. So my answer is probably going to be the same as being a wife.
All right.
Definition of what's that, good mother, right?
Yes, the mother.
Being a good mother, number one, you got to be fit, because you got to keep up with the workload. You got to keep up with, the children. You got to keep up with me. You got to be strong. I don't want no weak woman. Only the strong survive. You got to be disciplinary. When I'm not around, I got to know the kids are in order. The kids don't disrespect you, because if they disrespect you, they're disrespecting me in a sense. So how well your disciplinary skills are, how well you can teach. When I'm not around, can you teach them the life lessons of honor and respect and dignity and nobility? Because when a woman teaches it, it's different than when a man teaches it. I teach it through physicality and psychologically. She teaches that through nurture and gratification. So there are two things that I need to know that, and how I would know that is if you respect my honor, if you respect my beliefs, if you respect how I roll and operate. Got to be a good cook. I don't want no mom who can't cook, because if I can't cook and you're the woman you're supposed to cook, who won't cook? I'm gonna order, because I'm just gonna order out. Wings over, pizza. I'll order here and there, but female lionesses hunt. So go cook. I'll go do grocery shopping. You cook. Schooling. How well you're good with the schooling? You know what I'm saying? I don't want my children, in a bad neighborhood, not learning, wasting tax dollars on their education. So how well are you going to be able to sit with them? Do we need a tutor? How well we could plan stuff for the kids? The kids are the future. It's an honor and a privilege to have children. That's when people don't understand. That's how, when you have that mindset, you actually wind up raising better children. Instead of thinking, oh, these are my kids, these are my little minions. No, it's a privilege for me. It's an honor for me to teach these young ones. Just like the Spartans, and caretaker. How good you are as a caretaker, okay? How nutritious is your diet? How nutritious are you? Are my children, when they come out the womb, do you have any side effects of, I don't know, high blood cholesterol, high blood pressure? Are you fit? Can you hunt? Those are the things. Can you make a business plan? That's another form of hunting. What kind of mind do you have outside of working a 9 to 5? That's what a good woman is to me. An all-round person is a good woman, and also could be the same for a good father. Good father will have a little more attributes, but that's just mine. For a good woman, that's just not even a regular woman. That's just for a good woman. You're a good mother.
Excellent, Maurice. Now, the reason why I asked you guys this is because you all sit up here and you talk about women, you talk about the men that you choose, and so on and so forth. But I do want
No, you broke out. Hey.
I think the signal women got her.
Yeah, we'll wait for the signal to come back for her to finish her thought. But I kind of had a couple of notes, and that is, Maurice, I don't know if you found it yet, as far as how black women betrayed black men. If you wanted to kind of
I'm looking. It's in here. I'm just skimming through the chapters because I know I have it in one of my homework assignments in the past. So I'm just looking through it. But it's in here somewhere. So just give me some time. But I'm also doing some other homework too. Like I'm on PowerPoint and I'm gonna have the textbook in front of me. I just got out of my team lift like 2 hours ago, so that's the only reason why I'm up. So I gotta do this homework and stuff. So yeah. But I'm looking through it while I'm like multitasking right now. That's gonna come up sometime.
Okay. Or another thing to look up is, how was a black woman a pawn for the government? There is no African American dollar. There's just, the U.S. dollar that we have in the States, and all tax dollars go to the government. And you said civil rights. The Civil Rights Act was poison in the arm. How was the poison in the arm? And when it comes to survival versus being a bum on the streets, I think you pick survival. And that's what Faith was alluding to when she mentioned that black women had to choose themselves as opposed to, being, let's say, on a losing team individually. Because when it boils down to it, everybody wants to survive. Everyone wants to put themselves first. I know, Maurice, you spoke about sacrifice. Yeah. And doing what's in the best interest of the collective, which is collectivism. I will say this much: I'm an individualist, just like Brother Speaks that he's an individualist, and the whole sacrificing for the group to prosper and putting the needs of the group above our own needs. We're kind of against that here. However, we can appreciate if you are a collectivist, a tribalist, and someone that believes in the greater good. And the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few and the one. We appreciate that. But I guess whenever you are, get through reading, and you can kind of answer those questions, that can kind of help us move forward as far as the conversation. So Faith, you had cut out in mid sentence. We didn't really hear anything from you. If you kind of remember what you were saying or what you were alluding to after Maurice finished.
Yeah, I remember everything. I remember everything. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
But what I was saying is, you all had some great attributes that you had down there. My whole thing is, everything that you guys said sounds great on paper. But what I'm seeing out here in practice is that you guys are knocking up females, women that are not educating the kids. That's what y'all doing. Y'all knocking up these women that are not very good nurturers. You're knocking up these women that pretty much don't cook, don't clean, don't do a lot of things. These are the females I see walking around here with the big bellies. So I'm wondering, in practice, are black men collectively looking for these very same attributes that you guys laid out here on this panel? And I'm going to start with Bro Speak. Bro Speak, do you think that black men are collectively looking for those attributes?
Black men, yes. Black males, no. Black boys, definitely no. We're talking about a group of dudes who haven't matured yet. Like I always say, I go by the 100% rule. 25% of the men, yes, they're looking for the wives and they're looking for someone to build with. 50% can go either way, depending on their situation, finances, the women they deal with, and just their upbringing as well. And then you got 25 ain't about shit. They'll just knock up anyway, anything and anyone. So I say, as a collective, which black men as a collective, yes. Black males as a collective, no. They're just doing what they want to do, and usually, yeah, they're usually getting the wrong women pregnant because they're looking for that. They're looking for what is attractive instead of what is going to be a benefit to them. Because most of them were never taught to pick a woman that's a benefit to them. They were just taught, rack up the body count, so to speak.
It's very interesting that you said that a lot of black men were not taught to look for the right type of women. Do you think that a lot of black women were taught to look for the right type of men?
No. Let me be honest about that. No. I don't think they were taught. I think they seen their mother pick the wrong dude. They seen their grandmother, their sister, friends pick the wrong dude, and they kind of follow suit. And the men that they should pick, they probably just ignored, and because he's just coming to work and going home. He trying to get out of that bad neighborhood, just like she's trying to get out of. But she's picking who's attracted to her. And when I think the society, it restricts men to their base nature, but it rewards women for following in their own base nature. So to answer that question, no, I don't think that they were taught either.
Interesting. All right, Maurice, same question.
Reiterate the question again. I'm sorry. I'm looking for this. Reiterate that question one more time.
Okay. Well, the question was basically, do you think that black women were? Oh goodness, I forgot what the original question was myself. To be honest with you, CK, do you remember what the question was?
I believe it was, are black men collectively doing what we laid out as far as we're looking for a woman or like a wife?
Right. Maurice, The
I'm
question
gonna say,
was, are black men collectively, choosing women that have the attributes that we discussed here on the chat on the panel?
I'm gonna say no. I want to say yes because I see. I'm like, then again, actually, I'm gonna say yes because since I've been on college campus, I've been to 4 weddings and 3 of them were black men. 3 of them were black men and one of them was a
I
white guy.
said, are black men collectively, not on the college
Oh,
campus,
okay. On the
are they
collective group,
collectively as a group, looking
I can't.
for these good qualities and attributes?
As a collective group, nah, I'm gonna have to denounce. No, they're not. Because I mean, this is back to really what bro speaks was saying, man. Like, you have some guys that all they know is, I'm from the Bronx, New York, and all they know is the block, and they only see what they see in front of them, and their mom don't help them, their dad don't, they ain't there, they don't know nothing. The streets is what they know. The public school era was what is where I'm from. This is what Biggie Smalls would say. Skipping class, smoking weed, getting that type of era is where I'm from. The juice era. From that era, that was a detrimental part of Black Men Collective Group. And as a collective group, or at least what seems to be a collective group, because remember, narrative is very strong and important. Narrative will have you believe that, oh, this is what it is, and it's not it at all. So, but as a collective group, from what I've seen, no. But remember, it's a narrative held by somebody else. That also has to be in consideration too. But no, from the narrative that I've seen, no.
Okay, CK, same question.
No.
Would you expound on that?
Yeah, I can. Basically, because all of us have different definitions of what a good man is, what a good woman is, what a wife material is, and more than likely what husband material is. Everybody's looking for different things. Now, in my experience, the men that I've known and myself, when it comes to a woman, the first thing we look at is how she looks. And if she looks good, you want to approach her and you try to get her phone number and you go from there. And when dating her, you may do a Netflix and chill, or you may go out to a restaurant and you're kind of getting to know each other. You're not really talking about current events that much. You're not really picking her brain. Most of it is just trying to get to know her and see if you're compatible and if you both want to take it forward with a relationship. So people really aren't having these deep discussions and deep thoughts with relationships. It's just more of, I'm attracted to you, you're attracted to me, and we just kind of hang out, and then we may get serious, and then one day we're talking about marriage, moving in together, and we're just kind of going through the motions. And in trying to be compatible and connecting, sometimes we miss that. So men collectively are not really looking for that thing, and we don't really know what that thing is that makes a woman not necessarily perfect, but perfect for us, until we get older and we've made the mistakes, because a lot of times the older generation is not passing information down to the younger generation out of jealousy, or they're not packaging it in a way that we can use it currently. And then also we may reject what they're telling us as far as advice. So a lot of times we don't understand or really get relationships or get the opposite sex until we get older, when we're 35 plus. And until we get 35 plus, sometimes even older than that, or sometimes some people never get it. We're just out here really just trying to just get with someone who we think is going to be great for us, and we make mistakes, and it's more than likely you don't really learn until you get in a relationship, you're emotionally invested, and you just kind of figure things out.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with that too. Black men aren't, well, to some degree. I mean, black men aren't like looking like, okay, for the community wise. They're kind of just looking for like a woman who treats them good, who's gonna be like complacent, submissive, who's cool, who's fun, who's outgoing. That's just from the black dudes that I'm around up here. Like like I said, I've been to like 4 or 5 weddings since my whole career in my whole career in college, and 3 of them have been black guys. So I mean, but you know, the wives that they married though, they were all athletic. They're all, you know, track stars, or they're all, you know, not even a track star. There's some girl on campus that was cool, and it all started with just treating the guy right, or them just having a simple conversation. That, I have to be honest, certain situation that you're in with black women don't do that. Black women would never have. They don't put themselves in those positions, and they don't even have the same talking points and femininity of talking points to even attract certain men. That's just the fact. That's just the fact. I have never seen black women as a collective group, and not just black women, sexy black women, go down to the athletics trainer's office and be like, "We want to volunteer." Never seen that happen. So, I mean, black, again, white women, to a certain degree, they will put out their finest women because they have so many. So they know, listen, you get that black guy, you get that athletic built guy, you make sure he's on his purpose, you help him get on his purpose, you get a baby. They do that in college. As for the black girl, she's more focused on getting the degree. She's not, like Patrice, like this track star. I helped her, get to States, and she blew it all away for some guy and Infinity and dope money and now she's in a 2-bedroom apartment. Okay, when you was just on campus with the same demographic of people, and you chose to make your life harder when you were on the verge of possibly being an Olympian. I don't understand how you do that, but to each his own. And I see white women go to the athletic office. I see them train with the brothers. I even see white women, fine, big booty, non-big booty, tall, short, thick, whatever, don't matter. Even in the athletic director's office as a group, tape up athletes. White males, black males, give them massages, help them get into the ice baths, help them get into the ice showers, tape up their groinings, their knees. So we, as a collective group that go to college, we already see white women are catered. We don't see black women, and not just black women. We don't see good-looking black women in the athletic office. You might see a couple of, AKA, big women from time to time, but who's going to be attracted to that? Nobody. That's like a volleyball team full of 6 foot thick, athletic black women by day, strippers by night, and you have a bunch of 5'7" athletic,
let me ask you, what's the name of this campus that you're on again?
It's a predominantly white campus. I mean, it's not a HBCU or anything.
Yeah,
it's not
an HBCU.
It's right, because I'm gonna have to give you some pushback because I'm out here in Phoenix, and there are lots of fit, shapely, young black women from 18 to 20, and I've been in Vegas. Same thing. There are plenty of nice, shapely bodies out there too.
I mean, are they in the athletic office? No. Are they?
Wait a minute. What is this athletic office?
Yes, it's college. He's young.
The reason why I'm using the athletic office, the reason why I'm using that is because whether you want to accept it or not, that's where your warriors are. Whether you think it or not, that's where the warrior class of your men are. The men that are 6 feet, the men that are tall, dark, and handsome, the men that are everything that you women want. They're in certain areas that I don't see you guys in. And yes, you could say, you're on college campus, whatever. But if this is the detrimental of society of before marriage, why wouldn't you be in them positions to get married? That's what I'm saying.
I've said the same thing. I've said the exact same thing, that black women do need to put themselves in places where they can find good black men. I've said that numerous times.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that there aren't goodly shaped athletic. Of course, I helped an athletic woman. Regardless, she could have went. I think she could have been an Olympian. She was so fast. But, she gave that all up for a dude in an Infinity with some tents, some grill, and some cash. I couldn't believe it when I found out Patrice got pregnant. Everybody on campus was so just like, not everybody, but the athletic directors was just like, wow, that's unheard of, that an athletic star like that would just give up her prominence to be what? With this drug dealer dude? Or, you know what I'm saying? And Now, yes, that's just one example or whatever. It can't,
I think I remember you. I remember you from Fantastics panel.
Probably have. I've been on Fantastic Panel a few times.
Yeah, you told the story of Patrice over there before. You
Yeah,
really liked her. You liked her a lot, didn't you?
yeah, it did. But it is what it is, It is what it is. But what I'm saying is still, I don't see, like you said yourself, I mean, I don't see, fine women in the African American community going into certain spaces where brothers are at, that are young guys are at. These guys, and the thing about it is, on my campus, guys are from all over the U.S. I have guys from Florida up here that are black, guys from Texas that are black up here playing on a scholarship. There's guys from New York, that from the Bronx. There's other guys. There's like 120 guys on a football team. There's 3 squads, and half the team is, or more than that, I'd say like half the team is black. Half the rest of the team is white. And we go in the athletic office. It's big. There's Katie. There's Catherine. There's Emily. There's Ashley.
Yeah, I agree with you. But now, black women, we are not primarily in gym. And I know this because in the gym that I go to out here in Phoenix, I'm probably maybe one black woman in a sea of non-black women. Mm-hmm. So you're right. We're not in the gym.
But like what's crazy? No. Those marriages that sprung off, you know where they all met at? In the athletic trainers director's room. For the majority of marriages, that's where it starts. Hey, I need help. Can you take my shoulder? Hey, nice catch last week. Yeah, I know. Thanks. Hey, you want to go hang out after? That's how it starts. Black women don't even have them talking points. When you talk to some black women, they look at you with them talking points. They look at you like, no, not even.
Well, the gym is just one of many places where women meet men. Are you familiar with a content creator by the name of Chrissy?
Who?
Chrissy.
No, I don't know who that is.
Well, she's a black female content creator that speaks mostly about hypergamy, and her channel is mostly geared towards the dark-skinned black women being hypergamous. And she actually had a great panel not too long ago, maybe about, I would say 4 or 5 days ago, where she brought women on the panel, and they were of different ages. Some were in their 20s, some were even in their 40s. And these women spoke about how they met their men of means. A lot of them were dating interracially, and then there were some who were not. Okay. And a lot of them met their husbands in college.
Yeah.
That was the main thing that I heard. I heard a lot of them say they met their husbands in college or at work. So there are many places where women can meet decent guys.
But I work with even so in the aerospace engineering field that I'm in. I work for Pratt & Whitney, right, as a subcontractor. So I'm not a full contractor under them because I'm about to graduate, right? Mm-hmm. I've seen African men, and I've seen a few sprinkled, African, brothers in there, and I see majority, whites and Asians, and even a little bit of Spanish in there. But black people are starting to come up. The only African American women I see there are in the front office, and the actual women that actually work with us in the cells when we're building parts for the planes, they're all dykes. They're all gay. So when I'm thinking like, okay, wow. So the women the black women that look good, they're in the office in the suits and ties next to Brads and Chads. And then the guys who work, the grease monkeys that really get paid money, like me, when we're working on these engineers, you won't have this girl with gauges and half her head shaved off next to me because she could use a wrench pretty good. You see the disconnect right there? But if I was to go to the office,
but you don't have to talk to her.
No. What I'm saying is to a certain extent, women choose certain careers that they want. But when they choose certain careers that they want, you're not going to see a demographic of person in that career that you have. Like insurance. A lot of African American women do insurance, or they do social services. Are black men in them fields? No. So how can you be like, there's no good black? I'm like, listen, lady, not you, but I'm like, listen, you guys, and I don't agree with Kevin Samuels and everything, but one thing I will agree with him, you got complain if you're not even in the spaces that these guys are in. You're not even there. How does that work? I'm not at the football field, but I'm gonna be a D1 college student. How does that work? Make that make sense. You're not even in the areas where some of these brothers are at, but you complain about that there's no one of these brothers around. But do you care to actually know what these brothers like or do? For some guys like to go golfing. Some brothers like, oh, you know what, down here? Oh, you think you're white because you golf? How about you just say, you know what? I never golfed before. Let me go golfing with your black ass too, because I don't know. I never did it. No, you want to be? Oh well, you think? Come on, bro. Come on, man. If I agree with women on certain things about men, but y'all are very hard to deal with as well. Even from a young age, I see that. So
Okay, hold on, Maurice. Okay, hold on, Maurice. I gotta get to the other people on the panel. At this point, it sounds kind of almost ramblish, but we're gonna get back to you. But right now, I would like to welcome Rukia Black. Who is this? Hold on a second. I can't even see here. Rukia
Black Blazer.
Black Blazer to the panel.
Hi, good night, everyone. Thanks for the welcome. I would just like to add something into the conversation, please.
Go ahead.
When the guy said that in the locker room there were fat women in the locker room, who does he think is hiring those fat black women to be in the locker room? Because really, who do you think is doing the hiring of those women? Because when you want to find a beautiful black girl, you said you can't find her in those spaces. Fair enough. But black women or even black men is not the ones who are hiring. And even if there are black men that are hiring, they're hiring the black men that picks a woman of a certain phenotype. So let's say you were to go to a poverty spot where the hot girls at. Will you find beautiful, fit black women there? I think you will. You will see a lot of beautiful, stunningly beautiful black women of all shapes and sizes in a more lower class area. That's because we are kept out of wealth and resources. And this is what it comes down to. It's not about our wealth or our thirst to be the romantic love interest. That's about us personally. That's what we think it is, and that's what we think we are missing. But what we're actually missing is the bigger picture. The bigger picture is the woman that is promoted as the most beautiful woman are promoted that way because the most beautiful woman gets picked by the men with resources. The men who have the money, the men who have influence and power. So when you promote a certain phenotype, you're promoting yourself and your group as being the ones that is worth having and distributing the wealth and influence, right? So if you're looking at the black race worldwide, we don't have wealth, the majority, not talking about the few and the exception. The majority of us don't have wealth, we don't have influence, and we definitely don't get power, right? So you're coming from the lower classes, right? And the only way to keep you in that lower classes is to keep your access from wealth and capital restricted. And the only way women historically has made our money is through our fathers and our husbands, not through our jobs. So the woman that is promoted as beautiful and acceptable, what they are actually promoting is competition for resources. And every time a black man promotes the white woman as that ideal, when he gets something, he is saying that his mother his father should have never aspire to treat his mother better, give her anything, and his mother should not have seek a man with more wealth and resources. So he himself was in turn born into poverty. So you're encouraging the cycle of poverty births without even realizing it. Because if you want to remain a black man going forward in this existence, in this world, you're going to keep being born into poverty and powerlessness if you don't allow your woman in the space where wealth and resources is being distributed. Thank you very much. I'll pause.
All right. Thank you so much, Rakia. That was much needed. All right, fellas, do you have a response to anything that Rakia has just stated here?
We haven't heard from Brother Speak in a while.
Yeah. Okay. My only thing is, does the woman have to go work there to be around those type of men? Can she be in those events where they have events? I'm pretty sure like those athletic groups or these businesses that you said they have these high value men, they have events where you don't have to go work there, but you can go to the events. So do black women tend to go find out about these events and show up?
Do they have the resources to afford to attend some of these events?
Well, I mean, if you're saying that if they using that money to buy weaves and stuff like that, which is very expensive, wouldn't the idea to take some of that money to go to the event, if you are the one you're looking for the man with the resources?
Well, the women that have the money to afford $200 and $300 extensions can afford to go to the events too, but not every black woman is buying $200 and $300 extensions.
Oh, come on. Come on. So you can't go to a gym to meet black men. You can't go to athletic director's room to meet black men.
I'm not saying that. Excuse me.
But you could go. Hold on.
Excuse me.
You could go buy weave. That's an excuse, bro.
Excuse me.
That's an excuse.
That is not what I'm saying at all. See, you guys are putting black women all in the bunch. Now, let me ask you something, since you all know how much hair weave costs. Right, you don't know how much hair weave costs. How much do you think one black woman, not what they claim the entire kit and caboodle, but the average black woman, how much do you think her weave costs?
Well, I can go buy only from my ex, so she was spending like at least $100.
Okay, that is the median amount, $100 for weave. Now, would your ex fall into the category of a woman who has the funds to go to certain events?
Like a football game?
Football games can be very expensive.
Okay. But hold on. No. But weave isn't expensive?
Excuse me.
That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying.
Hold on.
Excuse me.
Men need go ahead, Rakia. Go ahead, Rakia.
Excuse me. Men interact and see beautiful women all day, every day, anywhere they go. You walk out your house, there's going to be a beautiful woman there. You don't approach every beautiful woman you see. It's same thing at the football game. You're not approaching every beautiful woman you see like, you're a star. You're not approaching every woman, and every woman is not approaching you. The places where you have to actually interact with women is in those close interpersonal spaces, the places where you get the invites to.
Incorrect. The reason why I have to stretch off because you're not a football player. After every game, I go up to every. No, exactly. So stop.
But I'm a but I'm a
That
black
don't
woman
matter.
and
It
I
doesn't
know what
matter.
the
It doesn't. I'm an
access
All
athlete.
right,
I
inside
get
of
paid
it
to
is.
play.
Maurice, let her speak because she just said that a person is not approaching every beautiful woman they see. To say that is the incorrect is somewhat intellectually dishonest because
But
there's no way you're going to try to have every beautiful woman you see as your significant other or as your sex partner.
no,
It's
that's
it's
not what I'm
just
saying. What I'm saying is,
But when
that's
you're
the counter
looking
argument
for
for what
one,
she said.
no
She said
one
that at the football
approaches
games, that football
everyone.
players
So
aren't going to interact with people. At every game, at any
not
games, we
interact,
interact with people.
get with. So let Rukia's
thank you.
finish, and then you can respond to her full statement.
So when the point I'm trying to get to is where the actual connection is got is in those interpersonal moments, those closed in places where you're invited to, and it's who is doing the inviting. I'm not a football player, of course, but I'm a black woman, and I know where I was not invited to. Right? I was not invited to the upper echelons of society. I was beautiful. I was a model in the 90s and the early 2000s, right? I was skinny. I'm still skinny. But I wasn't invited to those places where the men with money are at. So I didn't have access to those men. They can be passing the street and see and do, ooh, you're beautiful. You want to jump in my nice ride? It's like, are you crazy? I don't know you. Why would I jump into your nice ride? We haven't had a chance to meet and build a connection. Now you see women doing that in those gold digger videos where they turn up with a really expensive cars and the girls is ready. It's my car and she's ready to jump in it. And we are women with senses watching. I'm saying you're going to die. You're going to die. You don't know this man just because he may have borrowed or rented a nice car and said it's his. You're just going to jump in it and go away with him. That's craziness. You A relationship is built in the quiet or the closed in spaces, interpersonal spaces where you can actually have conversations and interactions and build a connection with someone. Just passing and seeing an attractive person and shooting your shot, that does not build a relationship. As a female, you're actually risking your life. Right? And as a female, you're not supposed to broadcast to every man, I'm available. Right? Every man not supposed to feel like, okay, this woman is available, because while you broadcast that message, what are you going to do when you're married? Start dressing like in a hijab and cover everything up because you're a married woman now? What your husband pick is what he's expecting for the next 25 years or so. So what are you selling when you're a married woman? You're selling yourself as available to every man that comes along. There are phases of life. Two things. Black people say all the time that we are not a monolith. I heard another sister say better than I can say it. But I'm just going to paraphrase what she said. And she said, black people said that all the time we say we are not a monolith, not a monolith, and we seek to keep making each other a monolith. I don't know why. Why are we talking about here? The men who like long weaves will date women with weaves. The men who don't won't. That's
Thank you.
Okay, I didn't bring up the weed to talk about who they like. I was talking about the cost. If we're saying they're not
well,
being, if they can't afford the events, but if they have the
But
money to,
but here's the thing: you're sitting up here telling women that they can't beautify themselves.
I didn't
That
say
that's
that.
that's essentially what you're
That's
saying.
not what I was saying. You're saying you can't find the men of means. We're saying they're at these events. You're saying that you can't afford them,
No, I'm
but
saying
yet
that a lot of these events that the men of means are at, they're pretty pricey events. So the average black woman, you're talking about a poor people. Number one, the average black person, period, is poor. So you're talking about these events where high value men are hanging out. They're not hanging out at events where just the average person can just walk up into. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
okay, well, again, you gotta make a sacrifice. What you gonna do? I mean, we.
So if the ticket is $500 and she's poor and she got to pay rent, she's supposed to make a sacrifice.
Yes.
But do they pay for the
Wow, wow. I can't believe this. You cannot make this stuff up.
So she's gonna be homeless to go to this event.
I didn't say that one. I didn't say that.
I heard someone say yes,
that's-
sacrifice her rent.
That's that guy. I'm not saying.
Wait. She said sacrifice her rent to go to meet a high value male.
No, to go to an event.
Why would you sacrifice? No, that's dumb.
Right, but that's what I was saying. Like, if she's poor and she's barely making it, you know, because like most poor women, I'm gonna tell you what a poor woman's weave costs. It's about $20. Okay, that's the poor woman's weave. So most of these high value men are going to events that cost $300 and $500. So she's not going to be able to go there.
What do you consider as high value?
First of all, since we're talking about beautiful black women having access to men of means, why does weave come up into the conversation? Are we saying that a black woman looks better with weave or not?
No, she looks.
Why does weave matter? Because
to me personally, weave don't look good on you because that lets me think you have insecurity issues because that's not your natural hair.
Oh, well, I wear weave and I'm very secure.
That's like me getting a penis pump.
But just like you leave all fat women out of the beauty conversation, because that's not a beauty trait to you, why would you bring in weave into the conversation if it's not a beauty adornment that you like?
Exactly. And then also, I'm a woman that wears weave, and I'm very secure within myself, baby. So I don't know where exactly you got that from. Just because a woman wears weave, she has to have low self-esteem.
Black man, I'm asking you, are you willing to pay the price or the cost of your woman beautification and the promotion of such when they do the work to be beautiful? Because we are not trying to be beautiful for ourselves. We are trying to be beautiful to attract your gaze. Okay? Especially straight women anyway. Right? So if we're going to do the work, I mean, are you going to give us the rewards? Because the sisters that do the work, the beautiful sisters, dark skin, light skin, but you can clearly see they're sisters. Where are you praising those? You keep talking about the problematic ones, but the ones that are doing the work are not getting the praise. They're not getting the shine. They're not being the standard of who the rest of us supposed to say, yeah, when I get my shit together, that is who I'm going to be. That's who.
Megan Thee Stallion isn't a standard for y'all. She just said she would leave. Y'all hypocrites right now. Y'all don't even know it. You just said, I'm secure because I have weave, right? Then she just said, well, isn't the beauty why women aren't regimented in a narrative?
Okay, hold on.
No. You said, I'm telling you what you said. This is not what I said.
No. I'm gonna clarify what I said. I did not say that I'm secure because I have weave. I said I wear weave. That does not make me insecure. Hold on.
Weave.
See, I got to mute you. Hold on. See, right now, what you're doing is putting words in my mouth. I did not say I was secure because of weave. I was secure before weave. What are you talking about?
I didn't say that.
That's exactly what you said.
No, I did not. I said that you said that you're secure with weave, right? That's your point. But I was using your point to what she said about, well, why aren't black women, why isn't there a beauty standard for black women to just look on TV and be like, yes, girl, that's what. But you have Meg Thee Stallion, so what are you talking about? That's a hypocritical statement. You're off of what you're saying and what she's saying. There aren't women of standards of beauty, but there are. You're just mad that not every black man likes that beauty standard. That's not our problem. That's it.
How is Meg Thee Stallion a win when the men she's choosing is disrespecting her every day? So her beauty has brought her nothing. Her hard work has brought her some wins, but her beauty hasn't brought her any wins.
She wears weave, right? You wear weave, right? So you guys, inevitably in the same boat.
Okay, first of all, myself and Meg the Stallion are two different people. Okay, all women that wear weave are not the same person. Number one, me and Meg the Stallion have nothing in common. Absolutely zero, zip, nothing.
Weave though.
That's it. That is it.
But it's not a beauty standard of what she said though. She said the beauty standard. She said, "Listen, you're the friend." Rukia said that there isn't a beauty standard of where a black woman could go and be like, "Yes, that's what I'm gonna do. That's my come up." But what I'm saying is that's a hypocritical statement because you have someone like Meg Thee Stallion. Then she went back on her statement saying, "Oh well, Meg Thee Stallion isn't a okay." But she rocks weave though. She's on TV though. If that's the problem, why don't you change the beauty narrative by using natural hair? That's why I say you women when it comes to that are hypocritical and you shouldn't be taking.
I cannot afford to change the beauty standard because I can't afford to hire or fire the beauty standard.
Bro, come on now. You're making excuses.
So listen. If that is what you want, black man, you're going to have to say, this is what I want, because in the room, in the choosing time, is you get to choose. If they bring in, listen, I don't have the power to set the beauty standard. I don't have the power to invite to higher echelons of society.
Hold on, Rakia, hold on a second, Rakia, because he's being disingenuous.
I don't get the power.
He's being disingenuous.
That's what I'm being.
Black men of influence. I don't have the power to say who's in the room with you, black men of influence, but you get the power to choose who you want to be in the room with you, because they're bringing
Rakia. Hold on, Rakia. Cause see, I'm gonna squash this right now. Now, see, you remember Michael B. Jordan, the guy that played in Black Panther?
Yep.
To your point earlier, hold on, please be quiet. To your point earlier, Rakia, when you were saying you know where you're invited, there was a scandal where he was at a club and he told his bodyguard not to let the black dark-skinned women into his VIP. So this alienated all types of dark-skinned black women, the ones that were natural, the ones that wore weave. It didn't matter. They weren't invited. So, for all of you black men that are sitting up here being disingenuous, and then also when you go to OnlyFans, when you go to Instagram, and hold on. When you go to Instagram and you type in, the standard of beauty or who is the number one black chick on Instagram, it is not a dark-skinned black woman with natural hair. Okay,
you're a hypocrite. You just said you have
Hold on. This is why you need to be quiet.
No,
okay,
I don't. I really
yes,
don't.
Yes, you do. You really do need to be quiet. Okay, no, you need to be quiet. Hold on. Now you're finna be quiet because you're booted. Now, what I'm saying is,
use the bill. You could use the bill. I'm kind
of no. He's booted because here's the thing. You're gonna respect me on my stream. This is my shit. But as I was saying, he's sitting up here talking about some hair weave because I'm talking about I'm secure even with hair weave. I did not say I was secure because of hair weave. I'm secure regardless. I wear my natural hair and I wear weave. I'm not ashamed of that at all. Black women, we are the ones that set this goddamn beauty standard here. Let's just get it straight. Everything that you see white women doing, they actually learned how to do it better because of black women. And that's including their hair extensions. And the hair extensions actually originated with them, but we made it better. Now, we're sitting up here fighting over some semantics about hair weave when you Negroes know good and damn well that black women, when we were out here wearing our natural hair and rocking everything natural, you guys were looking straight through us, calling us nappy hair, jigaboons, and everything under the sun. That's what you guys were doing. But now all of a sudden, since you guys have this narrative, this talking point, you have an agenda to push, all of a sudden you guys like natural hair now. Because I remember when I first went natural, this was back in 2013 when I first went natural. That was like on the middle part of the natural hair movement. I cut off all my hair and then I started growing my hair back. And why was niggas calling me nappy headed back then? Why was niggas getting online talking about black women looking all unkempt and we need to comb my hair? They had the Samuel L. Jackson memes floating around. You all are liars and hypocrites. But you want to come up here and act like you've been praising natural black women. Kiss my natural black behind. That's what you can do. Because I know you weren't praising natural black women. You were over here calling us Samuel L. Jackson. That's what you were doing.
What I want to know is, are the black men that are complaining about black women looks willing to pay the cost to improve black women looks as individual black men with their black women? Because it's a rare thing to find a black man that thinks his wife should spend money on her beauty upkeep. There is always something better to do with the household funds. But you want your woman to look as beautiful as when you picked her, right? Well, it costs. That's not free. That's not free. There is a cost to everything. There is a cost to the choices that we make. When a black woman chooses to pick up and eat that chicken and put on another extra pound, there is a cost. Who choose you, your options become a little more limited. The black woman who is skinny but she got a punch, looking like she's pregnant forever, there is a cost to you not loving yourself enough to exercise and pull your body back. There is a cost to the choices that we make. And pointing the finger does not change our choices. It just reinforces the dumb choices we have already made.
Okay. Well, I can only speak for myself. I don't particularly care if you wear weave or not. That's just my personal. That is my choice. I don't particularly care as long as you look good in it. But I would prefer natural. But if you wearing weave, that's your choice. If you're my woman, yeah, I'm going to pay for it. Now, I can't speak for other guys. I only brought it up because of the finances, not looks or anything like that. That was not even my intention. That dudes who complain about the weaves, that's their thing. I don't. If anything, if I do complain about it a bit, it's the they don't take care of the hair under it. So I've seen that happen. I had to get on my ex about that. So that was the only thing I would complain about. But other than just women wearing weave, natural, all that kind of stuff, that never bothered me. I mean, as long as it looked good. Now, if you're just having different colors, like I just won't date you. That's just been my thing. But I never got into that whole weave debate because I just think it's a minor point. But some immature dudes make that this big argument. I particularly don't. So.
All right. Well, we're hitting up here on 4 hours in this stream, and I am getting tired. I can tell I'm getting tired because now I'm over here cursing like a sailor.
Well, the guy kind of took it there. So
I guess we're about to do final thoughts. Everybody do
All
final
right.
thoughts. It's time for final thoughts.
Yeah, let's go. Let's kick it off with Rakia.
Thank you all for having me on the panel. It was fun, but it was short, but it was fun. I think the discussion should be looked at from another perspective, the perspective of what beauty actually promotes. It promotes what the men with resources can achieve and have. And who are these women? These women are mothers, potential mothers of sons. And what are they birthing? Are they birthing men who is going to have an easier road to respectability and power and influence? Or are they birthing men that going to have a struggle all their life, who are going to give that struggle to their sons? When the gold digger, do you all notice that the gold digger is female, is respected in other communities, but she's not respected in the Black poverty community where the majority of people are poor? You know, if your woman were to go and get a man money and procure the resources for her kids and her son starts off college in a BMW instead of walking to college, trying to figure out how we pay for college, most other community will admire that woman, put her on a pedestal, give her influence in the community, and tell other women to be more like her. But the poverty Black community is telling us that your women want too much when we're just asking for basic shit. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Thank you so much, Rakia, for coming on the panel, and we appreciate you giving us your insight, and do please come again. All right, bro, speak. Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, I just think that in the end, I mean, if women want better men, you're gonna have to go seek them out. That's just the bottom line, because, like I said, if you're in a bad neighborhood, you got to get out of that bad neighborhood by any means. Because, like you said, I mean, if you're picking the best of the words, but you still not trying to get out of those neighborhoods, then what can you do in that situation? You're just going to keep failing, picking other dudes, just following more of your base desires than actually picking someone who is going to be a benefit to you and you be a benefit to them. So I think that's just my thing. We're going to have to do better. If that means you have to go outside your race, I never had a problem with it, because I don't believe in this community thing. I believe the person, you got to do what's best for you. But within that, don't shit on your people. I mean, if you're going to go out, date other races of men, don't shit on your people. And don't complain about the men that you're leaving behind. All you should be focused on is yourself and what's make you happy. And the same with the guys. Guys should be the same way. I mean, if you want to date out and you think that these Black women are not what you think they should be, you date out, you should do that too. Don't worry about the community. The community ain't going to, because the community, as we've seen, most time the community ain't going to help you, man or woman. So, but just remember, once you go out, don't look back. Don't try to be like, let me shit on my community while I'm out here, because that just looks bad as well. Other than that, thank y'all for having me on the panel.
Okay, and thank you so much, bro, speak, for gracing us with your presence, and please do come again. All right, CK. This has been a hell of a stream.
Yeah, but 4 hours.
I don't know about you, but I'm drained.
Yeah, I don't have any final thoughts. I was gonna just respond to Rakia. I mean, she's gone now, but she was talking about the powers that be to keep I guess people from having access to wealth and capital, or keep access from wealth and capital restricted to keep you at the bottom. So what you do with your income determines wealth and capital, not people giving you more debt. Because when it boils down to it, when we're talking about wealth and capital, they're basically wanting banks and financial institutions to give them debt, which you're already getting money from income, whatever your employment is. So where you spend your money determines what you're going to be as far as economic advancement, upward mobility. Getting more debt is not going to change your position, because it's more than likely what you're currently doing with the income you receive. That's what you're going to be doing if you get more money, and all money is debt. The dollar in your wallet, in your purse, is not asset, that's debt. Every dollar that's printed has to be paid back with interest. That's pretty much what we're dealing with. So I teach a pretty much like a financial class with the commendable class of my Patreon and channel membership. And the first thing I teach when people enter into the commendable class is you're getting money from income. Your income is your money from whatever your job is, whether it's McDonald's, whether it's working for a bank, if you're a CEO, whatever your deal is. Spending money on assets first versus expenses and liabilities is what's going to change your economic position and allow you to build your own wealth and create your own capital. We have to stop using language and having a mindset of wanting handouts, and when you're told no, woe is me, because you're getting money from whatever your job is. Hopefully it's if you have a job. If you don't have a job, then you're just broke and you're not able to have the conversation. But what you do with your income determines your wealth and your capital, not who gives you debt. And as far as who we promote, a lot of Black people, African Americans, whatever term we want to use, we don't own or control a lot of industries. And that's the reason why we can't set the standard, i.e. put people on the front of magazines, websites, what have you. So if people are complaining about what the standard is, build industries, build businesses, create your own standard. And that way you no longer are at the mercy of other people. And, poverty has nothing to do with the women being promoted. Poverty is based off of choices, because somebody who lives below the poverty line is still getting money. It's just where you spend your money. Do you pay others first, or do you pay yourself first? If you're paying your bills and that's really all you're doing every month, you're going to be in the rat race. You're not going to move up in social class. But if when you get money from your job or whatever, if you first invested in, let's say, the stock market, corporate bond, municipal bonds, any of the asset classes, and then pay your bills after that, after a year of, let's say, employment, you're going to have something to show for it, as opposed to after a year employment, you're just paying expenses and liabilities and keeping yourself in the rat race. So poverty has nothing to do with the women that is being promoted. Poverty is a mindset. The second thing I teach in my investment class is investing is 10% money, 90% mindset. You have the same opportunity working at McDonald's, making minimum wage, as the person who works for a Fortune 500 company who's making $500K. If somebody makes, let's say, $500K a year, and they spend $500K a year on expenses and liabilities, they're in the same rat race as someone who makes minimum wage, spending money on expenses and liabilities. And, again, some people will say, well, if somebody makes more money, they have more opportunity, which is incorrect, because if you're paying other people first, you're not going to be putting yourself first. You're going to be putting yourself last. And again, check out Patreon and channel membership at the commendable class if you want more of that. I think tomorrow I'm going to do an investment thing on the Faith Factor channel. a part of the Faith Network, please subscribe, click the notification bell, ding the dong, bing the bong, so you don't miss out on that. And that's pretty much, I just wanted that response. I don't really have a final thought as far as everything that we talked about in this live stream. And I pass the mic on to the lovely Faith.
Oh, excuse me. I'm in the middle of my bite. Hold on a sec.
I done put Faith to sleep, y'all. I done put Faith to sleep.
No, I was over here chewing and munching on my sandwich, y'all.
Nah. You was dozing off. Tell the truth. You see how she does us, y'all? The truth finally came out. The whole time we putting her to sleep, and when I passed her the mic, and she's like, "Oh, you know," she woke up. She didn't think we were gonna call on her. But yes, Faith, we called on you while you're chewing the imaginary sandwich. It's all good. We put you to sleep. It's cool. We put you to sleep. Take your time. Waiting on you.
All right. Well, I'm just going to be short and sweet. I mean, because basically what it all boils down to, everything that we played today, from the football player killing his own child because he's an animal, from the black man who's cheating on his girlfriend and she's pregnant and he's still wanting to fight her. You know, all of this speaks to the leadership, the collective leadership of the men in our community. And the reason why we have such a huge prevalence of violence in our community towards women and children is because of the leadership of the men in the community. And that's the reason why when I put that video out years ago, Black women are right not to trust Black male leadership. I'm not talking about all Black men. Okay, I'm talking about the collective. And when I say collective, within that group, there are some great Black men. CK is one of them, okay, that I know personally, who's a great Black man. But collectively, as the group is suffering because of the overall leadership is suffering. And it really behooves me that a decade can go by. I've been on here nearly a decade, and it's still the same talking points. It's still Black men bringing up hair weave and arguments. I can't believe it's still the same talking points and the same arguments. Like, you know, are we ever going to get any new material? So, you know, this is what the Black male leadership is. It's all about blaming Black women, coming on here and saying that, oh, we're in the condition that we're in because of Black women. Black women have not held any of you Negroes back from doing anything. You guys could go to school. You guys can learn trades. You guys can do a lot of things, but you don't want to collectively. A lot of you just don't want to. Now, I do see more Black men making strides, but while you're making strides, you're still whining like little babies. I see guys, Black men in IT. You got IT careers, you're making money, but you're mad because you can't get the booty that you want. Like, who's sitting up here mad because you can't get booty? You're in IT, you're making this money, you know, just, how can I put it? Go where you are loved and go where you are celebrated. The same way that you tell Black women to go where we're loved and go where we're celebrated, you got to do the same thing. You can't make a woman be attracted to you. You can't make her be submissive. You can't make her do any of these things. But you can go where you're loved and where you're celebrated. You know, I think more people would be happy if they did that. But instead, you want to shame women and bully them into wanting you. You want to tell women that they think they're better than you. You want to sit up here and get frustrated to the point where you're going to beat women up and follow them from platform to platform to harass them. Why? Go where you're loved and celebrated and you love yourself and have high self-esteem about yourself. And most importantly, looks are not everything. You know, you guys have no problem telling Black women that we should forego looks when it comes to the romance department. Have no problem telling us to do that. We got to overlook your big belly. We got to overlook what was that meme with the lady blindfolding herself before having sex with the one-eyed dude? She got to overlook that one-eyed dude. Because he's a man of means. That was a man of means, CK. he got his IT degree. She's supposed to take that without the blindfold. Look at that ungrateful heifer. That's a man of means. That's a high value man right there. What is wrong with her, CK?
I'm sorry. I had to. I'm about to turn my camera off. It's hard for me to be serious and watch this video. Oh my god! I'm sorry, Faith. Go ahead. I'm going on mute, man.
You know what, CK? See, I'm gonna take this down because you can't concentrate. You just bad. You terrible.
Man, that video, I'm telling you, it takes me out. I'm gonna pause it. That video takes me out. You're right. I'm sorry. My bad. I didn't mean Mr. Paul thought up there.
But I brought the video up because, hey, these guys are saying she's supposed to overlook that. Now, come on, CK. You can't even with a straight face look at this video.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm going on mute, man.
So anyway, yeah, we supposed to overlook the one-eyed dragon over there. You know, come on now. Y'all got to have some kind of decorum. Come on, where's the female version of the one-eyed dragon? Huh? Why don't y'all get with the female version of the one-eyed dragon and tell us how you like it? But you all got the nerve to tell us that if we doing something wrong if we don't pick the one-eyed dragon because he got the IT degree and money. We ain't supposed to be have no feelings. We not supposed to have a preference in what we like. We just not human. Just like in the video that we played earlier of the guy filming the woman's booty walking through the grocery store, and she got a little baby with her. Y'all dehumanize and sexualize women left and right like we ain't even people. We not human beings. But then you got a nerve to tell us to choose better, but then you all are running around doing stuff like this. You all subject women all the time. You all choose holes and thoughts all the time. You're sitting up here with baby after baby, with whole thought here, thought there, all the time. Bro Speak said they are. That's why they mad. You know what? They could be getting with the one-eyed dragon, and that's why they mad. We talked about that too, Bro Speak. We talked about the guys that's getting with these women. You know, I won't even say what a man wouldn't stick his penis in. But they stick their penises in these women that they not attracted to, don't want, and then they take it out on them. Then they run and take it out on every woman. Or just because the woman they want don't want them, they got to take it out on every woman. Don't be mad. You ought to be mad at Big Booty Brenda. She the one that ain't giving you none. Why you gonna take it out on the one-eyed dragon? Lucy the one-eyed dragon. Lucy the one-eyed dragon giving you the poon. But you won't take it out on her. But Big Booty Brenda, you sit up there and simp for her all day. And she ain't giving you nothing. So what's good for the goose is good for the gander. But at any rate, I'm tired of y'all. I'm over here ranting and stuff like that, and I'm trying to eat my Jello. CK.
I'm over here crying because of that damn video, man. We got to end this. I'm deleting that video from forever because.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done with my little rant. We're gonna go ahead and end this, y'all.
All right, see y'all later.
All right, peace.